Oftentimes when your income is low and you expect your income to be higher out there in the future, it makes sense to fund a Roth IRA or Roth 401k. But that's not always the case. What are some times when you have low income, but you shouldn't fund the Roth? I've got that and more coming up. My name's Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. I love the Roth IRA, love the Roth 401k, and it just makes a ton of sense in that you're sort of, giving up the tax benefit today on your retirement contributions. I don't need the benefit today, but I want to never have this money taxed again. I want all the growth on this money to not be taxed for the rest of my lifetime, and at least the first 10 years of the lifetime of those that inherit it. That's a pretty good deal, especially as we've seen tax rates or new taxes, let me say that, new taxes come on board over the past several decades. While tax rates have come down, new taxes get created. There are other adjustments and offsets like complicating the tax code. That means if your income's above certain levels, then you don't get these benefits, or income's above these levels, then you have to pay more for your Medicare. And so all those reasons are good reasons to go with the Roth. But then also, speaking of tax rates, yes, they've come down, but we've got this enormous deficit. And I hope there's some creative ways to manage it and manage our debt. But if it needs to be higher taxes, then again, advantage Roth. And so I often say, well, number one, I always say, you got to work with your certified financial planner. This is a comprehensive financial decision. You think that, well, I'll just decide, which one feels better in my situation. You've got to look at your present financial position, your tax picture for sure, your investment plan, your retirement plan, your estate plan. You've got to factor in almost all 6 areas of your financial life to determine whether pre-tax or Roth is better. But prior to that, if you're young, advantage Roth. If you think you'll be in a higher tax bracket in the future, advantage Roth. And if you think the stock market is at a low point and will be surging higher in the future, which almost all of us should be answering yes to that at any given time, then advantage Roth. Those are the 3 criteria or the 3 circumstances where, even short of analyzing all 6 areas of your financial life, the Roth makes a lot of sense. That said, when are there some times, because there are, but when are there some times when you might be in a low income or low tax picture today, but it actually doesn't make sense to do a Roth 401k or Roth IRA? I've got 3 of them that I want to point out so that you can, again, approach this more from a planning perspective. First is if you're eligible or close to being eligible for the Retirement Savers Tax Credit. That's right, this Retirement Savers Contribution Credit, Retirement Savers Tax Credit. We always just call it the Retirement Savers Credit. And this is a tax credit. So after all of your income is put on your tax return, minus your deductions and your taxes calculated, credits are the dollar for dollar reductions of that tax. So these are great. Deductions are good, credits are great. And this is a tax credit that you get for doing what you should be doing anyway, or what you want to do anyway, which is saving up for your own retirement. And I don't mean that, when you save pre-tax, yes, that's a deduction. Yeah, I'm aware of that. No. This is an extra credit that you don't have to pay back. It's not just a deduction or anything that you'd need to pay back or something in the future. It's an exact dollar for dollar reduction in your tax bill for saving up for your own retirement. There's a catch though, and the catch is that your income needs to be below certain thresholds. Take a look. This is 2024's data, and 2025's is a little bit different. They expand it just a little bit, but married filing jointly, your adjusted gross income needs to be below $76,000. Okay, so below that level. And if that's the case, then you could get a tax credit on the first $2,000 that you contribute towards retirement. And that could be pre-tax, it could be Roth, okay? And for you and your spouse. So if you do $4,000, you'll get a tax credit on the first $2,000. If you do 2 and your spouse does 2, you'll each get a tax credit on the first $2,000. And depending on, as you can see in the tables here, and depending on the exact amount of your income, there's 3 different tiers. So your tax credit could be 10%, could be 20%, or it could be 50%. That's right, $1,000 of tax credit for you saving up $2,000 towards retirement. If you are low income and low tax bracket, again, advantage Roth. That's what you're going to think about. But if you're on the border of maybe not getting this tax credit, or maybe you're on the border between one of the tiers, using pre-tax for your contributions will actually reduce your adjusted gross income and could make you eligible for the retirement savers tax credit and get you from not getting a tax credit for saving up for retirement to all of a sudden getting a tax credit for saving up for retirement. So you want to be aware of where your income stands at the, in whether it's near these thresholds. And then this is oftentimes where we say, oh, you're saving X amount towards retirement. Let's have part of that go pre-tax so you get below this threshold and the rest of it go Roth. And so if you're potentially eligible or close to being eligible for the retirement savers tax credit, that's a time when you may want to do pre-tax instead of Roth. Another time your income may be low and you may expect higher taxes in the future, but still you shouldn't do a Roth this year, and that's if you're on Social Security. Now, if you're on Social Security, if you're not working, then you're not able to contribute to a Roth IRA or an IRA or a 401k. You need to have wage income, paycheck money. Okay, but in the circumstance where you're on Social Security and you're working part-time, just because you've got, you enjoy what you're doing, you want to stay busy, you want some extra pocket change, something like that. In those instances, it can be very powerful to defer some of that money towards retirement. But if that's the case, if you're working part-time and drawing Social Security, you may want to first, before you decide pre-tax or Roth, you may want to look to see, is your Social Security taxable? And if it is, how much? Right? Because whether Social Security is taxable, there's a formula that's done every single year where you are supposed to add up, and your tax software does this, but all of your other income plus half your Social Security, all of your other income plus half your Social Security. And that number, if married filing jointly, if that number is greater than $32,000, then some of your Social Security starts adding to the taxable side of your tax return. And it continues to go up and up and up until your income, if that formula is over $44,000, then for married filing jointly, then up to 85%, 85 cents of every dollar of Social Security lands on the taxable side. That's not the tax is 85%, but the taxability of it. And so therefore, if you're going to be contributing towards retirement while you're on Social Security and working part-time, you might want the deduction. You might want to erase some of that income that goes into that formula so that less and less of your Social Security is taxable. How would you know? Do the planning work with your CFP, see where you are with that formula and that threshold, and see if pre-tax improves it. And then finally, a third time when your income may be low, but instead of doing Roth, it's going to make sense to do pre-tax, is if you're on healthcare.gov and you're getting your health insurance and receiving advanced premium tax credits. So this is a little bit confusing if you've never done it before, or maybe if it's your first year on it and you're not sure about how the intricacies work. But when you are getting your health insurance through the exchange or the marketplace or healthcare.gov, it goes by all those names, then you actually are going to be paying a premium every single month for your health insurance that's based on what your income is. And when you enroll, when you sign up, or at the beginning of every year, you actually say, here's what I think my income's going to be. And then when you file and then based on that, that's how they determine, well, how much do you pay each month? And if the premium is supposed to be here that you should be paying each month, but because your income is at a certain level, you're actually only paying this, what you're getting is actually a tax credit in advance every single month. And that tax credit's reducing what you're paying for your health insurance. And then when you file your taxes, that's when your actual income lands. And okay, was it what you expected? Was it higher or different? And that's when you may have to repay some of those premium tax credits. Well, if your income is a little bit higher at the end of the year than what you projected, saving into the Roth is actually not going to help you at all. Instead, you'd want to save into retirement pre-tax to bring your adjusted gross income back down and avoid having to repay these premium tax credits. So oftentimes it does make sense. If you're young, if you're low income and expect income or taxes to be higher in the future, or you think, hey, the market's at a low point, it's gonna be higher in the future, just normally that's, advantage Roth. But that doesn't mean it always makes sense to do Roth. You still need to do that comprehensive financial planning and evaluate your options and see what is best for your unique situation. Work with your certified financial planner on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well. Or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.